Hi, this is David.
David, it's Leslie Jordan.
Hi.
I didn't hear my phone ring.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you called
Sorry,
back.
it was like sitting right here. Maybe I had the ringer off.
All
but
right.
I was waiting on you to call.
We're all good. Thank you for calling me back.
Now, this is Instinct Magazine, right?
Yes.
How fun.
Yeah. Are you familiar with our publication?
I am. I look at it online a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have are you a glossy, like a real magazine?
Unfortunately, yeah, we were up until 2015. Now we're only strictly online. So we're trying to keep that same presence going online now.
Right, right. Well, that's the way to go now. I sit and read a newspaper, and people look at me like, well, how odd.
I know.
What I do, I read magazines and newspapers.
Well, thank you for making some time for me. I really appreciate it. I know that you're very busy and you have a lot going on, so I'm very grateful.
Well, thank you for helping me.
Yeah, so I'm going to be going to your Exposed show on next Sunday, so I'm excited to see that. And in anticipation of that, I just wanted to ask you some questions so that I can put it all together in an interview format with a little bit of some tidbits from the show.
Okay.
All right, so I'll just have some standard questions here, and you can stop me, you can, rephrase anything that you'd like, so, just, do whatever you want. So I have been watching The Cool Kids, which is a great new show. How did you get involved with that project?
Well, my agent called and said there's something really fun that's happening over at 20th Century Fox. And it's the boys, it's the guy it's the boys who wrote It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I thought, oh, they're so cute. I want them to be my boss. And so it was originally written, I went into audition. My part, Sid, was written for a 73-year-old straight Jewish man from Brooklyn. And so I walked into the audition and I said, I'm going to put a different spin on this. And at that point, Vicki Lawrence was attached. People think that in this day and age, they just give us or offer us television series. You audition, even at the level I'm at. There's so much content out there, and so many of the younger people, don't know who we are, and so we all auditioned. David Allen Greer, Martin Mull, we all auditioned. David auditioned for the part that Martin ended up playing, and Martin auditioned for the part David ended up getting, and which was something that, if I recall, happened on Golden Girls too. I can't remember. I think they wanted Betty White for the slutty part, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, I've already played the slut on Barry Tyler Moore. But anyway, so that's how I got involved with it, and we shot a pilot. And I knew that it had a pretty good chance because it was 20th Century Fox selling it to Fox Television, which is now, my God, who knows who owns what. There's been so much upheaval with Disney coming in and buying 20th Century Fox and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we shot the pilot like last Thanksgiving. We shot it early. Pilot season is normally January to March, somewhere right in there. We shot early because Charlie Day had to go over and go back on It's Always Sunny. And so then, you just sit and wait. And I was over in Spain doing this other project. I have another television series called Living the Dream that only airs on Sky. It only airs in Europe. And we're in our second season of that. So anyway, they called and said, oh, we've got to get you to New York because the Cool Kids has been picked up and they want to make a big announcement. So I was flying back and forth for a while. I thought, oh, my gosh, these are problems you won't have. From Spain to New York to back to Spain to California. Ooh-wee, I made it.
Jet setting.
Jet setting, all about. And we're doing really well. We've been picked up for a full season, full 22 episodes. We're in the middle right now of episode 12, and we're really, people are really enjoying it. We did not know. You never know. We thought it was funny, and I remember thinking to myself, if people can see how much fun we're having, because, honey, I've been on a lot of television shows where it wasn't fun. You know what I mean? But we all get along, and we're having a really good time, and I just hope it runs forever.
Yeah, you all have some really great chemistry, and I know you're all well-known actors, but, it's very natural. It's, once you've played a character in the past, right, you're afraid that you're going to get pigeonholed and you're going to only be that one-note character, but you all, you're all these new characters that I think people can really appreciate because you have some great chemistry.
Well, thank you. We agree. We really do. From the moment we came together, we had never worked together, any of us. I had actually worked on a movie with Martin Mull, but none of my scenes called Ski Patrol 100 years ago, and we were in the same movie, but we didn't shoot. You know what I mean? Our scenes weren't in the same.
Yeah.
We didn't shoot together. But from the very first read-through, when we sat around the table, because that's the problem with the brand new show, you have to find an ensemble footing. And we had that the moment we walked in. Mm-hmm. We really had it. I've learned over the years with Megan Mullally, if you have a comedian with really wonderful instinct, it's just like verbal ping pong, and that I discovered that with Dickie really fast. We really have that kind of, and all of us, it's just you hit the ball to them and you know that they're going to do their part and hit it back to you. And so I remember in the middle of the pilot thinking, it's so easy. It's just so easy. Mm-hmm. But I think that's it, is that everybody's doing their job.
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot of the scenes, you're the comic relief from the whole group. Was that intended originally?
Well, I don't know. I think I have the flashier part. I think they're afraid I'm going to burst into flames any moment. I have the flashier part, and so the writers, I don't know. It wasn't planned that way, and I do think that sometimes I come in for the funny part. But you know what they're doing? A little different. We're going not a whole different direction. But if you're going to have a series on the air for a really long time, you can't just have it be constant, capers and slapstick. You've got to have. And the last few episodes we've shot have really been more about us and our past. And it's wildly funny, but we're all getting our moment to shine, so it's good.
Great. And why do you think that this particular narrative needs to be told?
Well, I think, people, when they talk about old people, they think old people. Well, my generation, I'm 64, I'm certainly getting up there. But we went to Woodstock. You know what I'm saying? We were the rock and roll generation. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like your grandparents' old people. I don't know if it's shown yet, but we end up smoking a lot of pot. It's legal in Arizona. And so I started introducing quite a bit of pot smoking. And that's old people. So it's a story. What I love about the series personally, and I don't know if this is what they set out, but that you've got an aging gay guy, you've got an aging African American, you've got an aging white, straight, Republican hippie filled with conspiracy theories, and then you've got a woman of a certain age, but it's not about any of those four things. It's about friendship and people getting older, and I love what I love, and you'll see this Thanksgiving episode that's coming this week. It's also the way we define family. You know what I mean? People say, "Oh, well," and we're a family on that show. Mm-hmm. We really grow in, and that's our family. Because you get older, and your kids go here and go there, and then you're just sitting there. We've made a family, and I love that about the series.
Yeah, that's a really nice point. Okay, so changing gears a little bit, how has your guest role as Beverly Leslie on Will and Grace changed the course of your career?
Well, I thought I won an Emmy, which can always, I thought, would change the trajectory. And it did in ways I didn't think it would. You get a part like Beverly Leslie, and I did it off and on. People think I did a lot more episodes than I did. They did 500 episodes. I mean, they did 22 a year for 8 years. I think I did 12, maybe 13, maybe 4 a year. But when I won the Emmy, I thought to myself, well, I'm going to kick that. I've been doing this for 20-some-odd years. I'm going to let things come to me now. And nothing. I remember I called my manager and I said, I can't eat this Emmy. I just wasn't getting jobs. It was the strangest thing to be sitting there with an Emmy and be, not working. And but what I did, which will lead us to Exposed, the subject of that, I went to this marketing firm out in Palm Springs and I said, listen, and this is way before the days of the Kardashians. I didn't know the word branding. I didn't know what that meant. But I remember saying to them, I want you to sell me to the gay community. I'll do parades. I'll do a stand-up show. I'll do one-man comedy. I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll go on cruises. But I've got to earn a living. And I got up to about 40. Last year I did 44 venues.
Wow.
Where I do this show. Exposed, the show that you're going to see, it started years ago with another one-person show that I ended up taking it to New York, and I went to the West End of London. I did it for weeks there, and now I've got it down to me and a mic. It used to have a lot of bells and whistles, and it's a true one-person show. It's not really stand-up comedy. You'll see, it's just me and a mic, but it tells a definite story, of this kid that, got off the bus in 1982 with $1,200 pinned in his underpants and dreams, and how over the years being a gay actor. I mean, it's a show. But that was the way, that winning Emmy and then not having things happen from that is what got me back out on the road, which I'll be forever grateful for, because I've been able, one of the journalists said to me the other day, he said, Mr. Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your first series regular role since Hearts of Fire years ago with John Ritter. I said, yes, 1993. Thank you for reminding me. So this series is my first job, really. I mean, a job where I go a series regular in 25 years. Now, I've done well. Come on. I've done really well, but I'm talking about, I'm a career girl now. I get up, I go to work. Yeah. I come home, I lay my outfits out for the next day, I do my ironing and everything else. I've got to get up, I've got to go to work. This has not been my career up to this point. And,
and can I ask you, why do you think that the phone wasn't ringing off the hook?
I think what happens is, and it has to do more with agents, maybe the way they approach things. Okay, I have an Emmy, and so I have been for 30 years, 33 years when I won that Emmy, I've been the funny guy that came in with the zinger. You know what I mean? Rarely, you see me on Will and Grace, I don't have anything to do with the story. I just come in with a, well, Karen Walker, and bam, I'm gone. And that's been my job on most of my, shows, is the funny guy that comes in with a zinger. Well, what happens is, you want, if you get an Emmy, you want the producers to pay you what they call, they want you to break up a show. It's like scale. It's what actors get. And they say, well, you don't want to pay that. That's an Emmy now. And unless you're, like Carol Burnett, you come in to guest star and it'll really up the ratings, producers are not going to pay extra. So I think it was just this kind of weird time where, they didn't want to pay for what I could bring to the table. Who knows? That's trying to make, I tell, I'm in recovery and I've got about 21 years completely clean and sober. But I would talk to my sort of spiritual advisor, and I would say, but I don't understand. He said, you're trying to make sense out of a business. There is no, sense. No. But I just hit a dry spell, So,
Yeah.
But then you look back on it and think, wow, if I had not hit that dry spell, I wouldn't be out on the road right now. And I do really well.
Yeah.
I do cruises, I've gone all over the world with, doing things that normally wouldn't have happened. In fact, I'm wrestling right now. They want me to continue to keep doing some of those events. And, I'm booked in December 1st. I'm booked into some big event in, Springfield, Illinois. I don't know where it is, but I think I can't do it. I can't work all week on this television show and get on a plane and fly there and perform Saturday night and come back on Sunday. I just can't do it. So trying to figure out ways in which I can kind of back away from that, but good problems to have.
Great problems to have, all because because of Beverly Leslie, right?
Yeah, all because of Beverly Leslie.
So was that role written with you in mind, or is it something you auditioned?
We'll get into the whole story, but that's part of Exposed.
Okay.
Beverly, the part of the story, I'll tell you a little bit about it. The part of Beverly Leslie was originally written for Joan Collins. That's a true story. They wanted her to steal Rosario the maid away from, Megan Mullally's character. And then her and Joan Collins, they wanted kind of a big dynasty cat fight. And I don't know what happened scheduling-wise. Miss Collins could do it, and they just changed the character and put out. I went in an audition. I walked in the door and auditioned for Beverly Leslie. People think it was written for me because Leslie Jordan, but no, Joan Collins missed Beverly Leslie.
And it's so great. I mean, how much of that have you improvised over the course of that character?
The interesting part, people think when they watch Will and Grace that we get to improvise. I learned early in my career that film is a director's medium, stage is an actor's medium, TV is a writer's medium. I learned a long time ago, especially like on Will and Grace, on my show we have 12 writers. We have 12 writers that sit around the table, and it's so funny because we'll try to improvise, the actors, because we're funny people. And they'll go, that was funny. Yeah. It never ends up in the script. You are not allowed on Will and Grace to improvise. Now, in the rehearsal process, you can certainly go to the writers and say, listen, I think this would be funny. But with Beverly Leslie, I don't think I've ever improvised. One time, and I got a little bit of trouble for it, Jack was offering Rosario a shrimp. And it was the Jennifer Lopez episode. And I was supposed to just cross through. And he said, shrimp. I said, queer. And kept walking. Well, the audience just went crazy,
Yeah.
They just went crazy. So they came over and they said, listen, you can keep that in, but let's don't make that a habit, You just can't have actors. I mean, people don't realize what a nightmare that would be if actors could just improvise anything they want. That's maybe the Kel Burnett show, you know what I mean? A long time ago. It just can't happen now.
Yeah.
There's too many cameras. There's so much. But I'm sure that it happens. Of course it happens. But on our show, we don't improvise much. It's entirely scripted.
Mm-hmm. And so I know you mentioned a little bit about Exposed. For those who haven't seen your show yet, what might they expect?
It's me telling stories, and that's what I'm good at. I'm a raconteur. From the time I was little, I would just tell these stories, and my mother would sometimes, caution me. I mean, there's a difference between just flat out lying and being creative. But, I would come up with these stories about my life and all of them. And so it's a story, you know what I mean? It's not in a comedy. It's a one-person show, and I have been doing it off and on for 15 years. I've done it on the West End of London. I did it off Broadway. Lily Tomlin produced it for a while. It has had a long and storied run. And so I've gotten it now down to 75 minutes of the very best of all my shows over the years. And it's a rollicking evening. I'm filthy. I always say to myself, I'm not going to be dirty tonight because I don't want to. I get out there and I'm just filthy.
I think
my mother saw it one time a million years ago. She said, "You weren't raised to talk like that." She said, "I can't believe it." So I won't let her come anymore. But it's not, you know what I mean, X-rated. It's just naughty.
Yeah.
Get up there. And of course, I change it if I'm in. Let's say I'm in a gay bar at midnight. Oh, honey, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Catalina Jazz Club, I'll probably keep it pretty clean. But it's still a romp. It's still fun.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it.
And what we're trying to do, we're going to have people there that night from a lot of the Netflix and HBO. So I think the next step with having a television series that's done really well will be perhaps a comedy special. And that's what I'm aiming for. So
yeah, that would be great.
We're also taping at night. I mean, they'll be very out of the way. There'll be 3 cameras going. And so it's going to be a really fun evening. Plus, my whole cast is coming. All my cool kids people are coming. And so it'll be fun. You're going to really have a great time.
Great. So how would you say that Exposed is different from any of the other projects that you've done?
Well, it's me. I wrote it. It's about me. It's Exposed is the one that I think is closest to telling the true story. In recovery, we're always taught to share. Put your hand up and tell your experiences. And I finally had to go to my spiritual advisor, and I said, you know what? I don't even know what the truth is anymore because I've told my story all over the world in nightclubs and here and there. And then when, in recovery, you're not supposed to embellish. You're not there to entertain. You know what I mean? I told him I've got to, and he said to me, well, you need to take a sabbatical, shut your mouth for a while. I said, I have to earn a living. So I still do my whole show. I just don't do it in the rooms of recovery anymore. But it's almost like a musician with a set list. I have so many stories with everything, we didn't discuss today, Sordid Lives, or the movie that I did with Olivia Newton-John that became kind of this cult movie. I've got stories about all that. I've got Will and Grace stories. I've got all kinds of stories of the Emmy, winning the Emmy, what it was like to stand there. I've got stories, and it ends on a really cute, kind of poignant level. I was in Washington, D.C. I was the Grand Marshal of Capitol Pride the weekend that the Orlando tragedy happened. And I was invited to the White House. You talk about this kid that just got off a bus in 1982 from Tennessee with, $1,200 pinned in his underpants and a dream, and all of a sudden I was invited to the White House, because our last president, Barack Obama, and his lovely wife, Michelle, wanted a gay president when the tourists arrived. They wanted people to know that this White House, was gay-friendly, and the gay choir was there, myself, Ty Herndon, who had just come out of the closet, gay country singer. And from that, I was asked to throw the pitch out for the Washington Nationals against the Chicago Cubs. I'd never held a baseball in my life. There's a whole story that ends with that, how I'm standing with 38,000 cheering people throwing a ball, in memory of 49 of my dead comrades. It was like, so, it's a story. It's a story about, this gay a gay man in Hollywood, and I'm trying to get it. It's interesting. So many of my audiences over the years they've gotten straighter and straighter and straighter, and I don't mind that because I love my gay audience, of course, but my story can resonate. You don't want to be preaching to the choir. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You want gay people there, but the message that I deliver is more for our straight friends. That this is our story, because it's not just my story; it's our story. Mm-hmm. And so.
Yeah. Well, I think that people genuinely want to know more about you, and by doing something so candid, it really shows that not only are you not afraid to take yourself not too seriously, but that that we all share this similar narrative, no matter who we are. So.
We do.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the. I've had people come up to me and, people said, look, I'm not gay, but I grew up really heavy my whole life. I felt teased. And your story really resonated with me. And I thought, wow, that's it. That's the story right there. Bullying and just, especially now, my God, we need our story so much. Everything we hold dear is in risk. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful time. I think you will.
Yes, we definitely will. So just one couple last questions here, and I'll let you go. So I know that you've participated in readings for Stan Zimmerman's Silver Fox pilot. Is this a project that you would be on board if it was greenlit for production?
Absolutely, but it's interesting that the series that I got has been, in other words, they were touting Silver Foxes as a gay Golden Girl.
Yeah.
And we did readings. I think the tale, it's not a cautionary tale anyway, but the story of Silver Foxes is how difficult it is to get a show into production these days. I mean, come on, you've got Stan Zimmerman. He wrote every sitcom known to man. You think that everyone would be throwing their doors open, please come in. But, it's almost like the bigger the industry gets, with all these different venues, you think there would be 100 ways in, and there's not. I just don't think they've been able to find a home for it. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not at a level where I can shepherd a show. You know what I mean? There's no way that I can, somebody like a Megan Mullally could shepherd it right in the door somewhere. I couldn't do that. And so I'm not sure where it stands right now, but I would certainly be on board for it. I find it rather crazy how similar my show is to that concept, but it has nothing to do. I mean, my show, on my show, we have, I think, one, maybe two gay writers. The rest are just those boys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So my show is this rowdy. They're like frat boys. They just scream and holler and laugh. They're not gay, but they're very open to not offending and coming to me and saying, okay, look, we're a bunch of straight guys writing this part, but we want it to really resonate, la, 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 la. So I thought a lot about Silver Foxes. I've had gay men write for me for years, Ryan Murphy, Dale Shores, Max Muchnick. I've had gay men write for me for years, and this is a little bit more of a challenge for me because it doesn't have gay men writing for me. Mm-hmm. A gay man will write that joke and hit the nail right on the head. Well, these crazy guys that write for my show come in, and I'll say, well, that's ludicrous. That's not even funny. And all of a sudden, we put it in front of the audience, and they're screaming. So it's just, the whole journey is interesting. But I certainly wish them the best. I'm hoping that I'm not available for many years. It's hard to say that, but my God, I've got a show, and I just hope it runs. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to add or mention before I let you go?
No, I think we covered it all. Listen, have you and I met before?
We've never met. Actually, Actually, we did meet in passing once. You were doing the stand-up gig at the Bear Weekend in Big Bear last year, and I said hello and I introduced myself, and you were so busy that day. I think that it was like, okay, well.
Oh, that was crazy fun. Those bear conventions. You know, I could say something about bear conventions because I expected it would be kind of salacious. You know, like a bunch of hairy, sweaty things. It's not like that at all. I've never seen so much good, clean fun. Just a bunch of big old fat boys having fun.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I loved everything about it.
We're all teddy bears.
Just teddy bears, just up there having a real good time.
Yeah.
Okay, honey, well, listen, after the show, I come out and sign books and all that. I'll make sure and introduce yourself again.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a great day and enjoy your week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.